Where does the money go? We spend time on that. So, you know, in your world, I'm guessing that you're getting paid for what you're doing, right? You spend time with a patient or someone who needs a service, you get paid. And so when you combine and one of the providers decides they're going to, or you ask one of the providers to run the business, at least on a part-time basis, they might spend 2 or 3 hours a day working on issues that you might not have had you stayed on your own. How are we going to pay that person? Because you're not creating any revenue, but they sure are saving the enterprise money by their managerial expertise and the fact that they're able to devote time. So payment for management. Sometimes you say, well, everybody's going to pitch in. Sometimes that doesn't work. Other issues you need to talk about or think about are how you're going to let people in, right? So you've got this enterprise with 11 or 12 or 5 or 6 or 2 or 3. You know, if it's 2 or 3, before you let a fourth in, I'd say everybody's got to agree on that, right? I don't want somebody coming and living in the house unless everybody in the house agrees. If you've got 11 or 12, you might want a supermajority to agree that somebody can come in and be an owner. So part of these things are, again, this is the pathologist in me, seeing what happens when you have an enterprise and things, either they don't go well or it's going okay, but people retire. People decide they're going to move to Orlando. How do we buy them out? That should be in your operating documents when you start. You shouldn't decide that the weekend they're packing their stuff. You should decide this is the way we're going to have somebody be bought out. So you're not dealing with somebody like me when they're bought out, right? It's like the Midas guy, pay me now or pay me later. Let's do it now and save money and get something in place. Personal guarantees is a huge deal, okay? So you're in a small practice. Often, if you have to borrow money, the bank will say, "That's great. We'll take Jim Wall, PC, as the borrower, but Jim Wall individually has to guarantee that loan, which means I'm personally on it. If you and I are partners, you and I are both on it. Okay, that means they can get stuff I own. If I decide I'm going to Orlando and you buy me out, bank doesn't care I go to Orlando. They got my personal guarantee. That's good, Jim. We'll find you down there. So how are you going to treat that? And personal guarantees come up with bank loans. And even if you don't have bank loans, they'll come up with a lease. So if you lease space in your small business, you can expect your landlord to say, "It's fine, I believe in your business, but I want your personal guarantee." So on the way out, we've got to decide how we're going to handle that. Because if I've got a partner and he and I agree that I'll take care of your personal guarantee if you leave, that agreement is not binding on First Citizens. First Citizens still has an agreement from my partner that my partner is going to pay. In every guarantee I've ever reviewed, and I represented banks early in my career, it says, we can ask you to pay whenever we feel uncomfortable, basically. And we don't have to ask your business to pay first. It's not what the business doesn't pay. We can come to you first. I practiced through 2008, where the economy dipped, and we had a lot of that going on. People were making their payments on their loans. And the bank felt uncomfortable and said, "We want it all. We're done." And they had to go find another bank. So guarantees are important. You should never sign one without knowing that. Founders protections, we do this a lot. Somebody started a practice. They've been working it for 25 years. They've signed guarantees. They've signed leases. They've gone weeks, if not months, without pay. They finally built something. They've got somebody who's new in the business who's been going for 2 or 3 years, and they form a 50-50. Well, we usually build in a protection for the founding partner that if we have a deadlock, the founding partner's going to break the deadlock because they're the founding partner. So we have those in there. Sometimes we'll put a sunset provision on it, meaning for the next 3 or 4 years we'll have a founding provider's protection.